Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Well, welcome to episode 7 of the Union Quiz Tournament. Honestly, guys, today's matchup is probably the one I was looking forward to the most out of all the draws and everything, so no offense to the other contestants. But the reason I'm looking forward to today's matchup so much is because we're welcoming back on the show Mr. Mike Thomas, who always seems to have an opinion about the Union on Twitter, and I love reading his arguments that people try to get in with him on Twitter and everything, so thank you for that entertainment, Mike. And then welcoming on to the podcast for the first time, one of the founding members of Sons of Ben, Mr. Brad Youtz. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for reaching out, Brad. And I felt dumb when I made that video and everything, and I think I called you E. Brad Lee. And I was like, oh, God, I should definitely know who you are after watching that.
That's all right.
Watching the Sons of Ben movie. And if you guys haven't, check it out. Great movie and everything. But thanks for coming back on, Mike. It's always a blast when I get to talk to you.
Yeah, I know you said my Twitter combos are usually for better or worse. I think mostly for worse, but I'm glad someone enjoys them, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah,
I enjoy it, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy it as well. It's like I see you like you've made graphs and everything. You've made a whole bunch of stats and everything. I'm like, how in the world did you put all this up? Like, as soon as somebody makes a post, you already have a graph ready and everything. I'm like, how did you get that set so fast? And somehow you do it. So props to you, Mike.
Yeah, Rich really likes to rail on me for that one, for all the Excel sheets.
Yeah. But one thing I was going to say to you, Brad, is thank you so much. And like I said in the introduction, for being one of the founding members of Sons of Ben and just being part of one of the first few people to get together and create the supporters club to eventually get the team in Philadelphia. And I'm sure, that was a tough task and everything, not knowing, no team in Philadelphia and don't know if that thing's going to work out. And eventually we did get a team. So I just want to be the first to say thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, thanks. I was probably like number 20 or 25 who was in actually like part of it, but I just kind of showed up at every event and everything, and then they said, you know what, you work at an agency, so you can be the marketing director, and then I just kind of rolled from there. So, but it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of work by a lot of people too.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine. But let's get into the first segment, which is 5 and 25. We'll be starting off today's episode, like I said, with the first category, which is 5 and 25. 5 and 25 is where I ask each contestant 5 questions, and they have 25 seconds to answer the questions. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip, and we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points. Any questions, you guys?
No, good to go.
Nope.
All right. Well, we're going to start with you first, Mike. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. How many goals does Sebastian Letou have in the U.S. Open Cup Modern Era from 1995 to present?
17.
Who scored the first goal of the 2017 regular season for the Union?
Corey Burke.
Who scored the first ever playoff goal for the Union?
Pass.
What year did the Union sign El Seno?
2017?
How many Union players were in the 2012 MLS All-Star Game?
2.
Yep, you got that one right. So the one that you skipped on, who scored the first ever playoff goal for the Union, that was Sebastian Letou against Houston in 2011. Let's see. And then the first question asked, how many goals did Sebastian Letou have in the U.S. Open Cup? You said 17. He had 16. Jay Simpson scored the first goal in the 2017 regular season. That was against Toronto on March 11th. And then you got the last question right, which was how many Union players were in the 2012 MLS All-Star Game. And then what year did the Union sign El Seno? That was 2016. So you missed it by 1 year. So that was 1 out of 5, and you got 2 points there, Mike. So you're on the board.
I'll take it. That was tough.
Yeah, absolutely. You were saying beforehand, you're like, man, I was listening to the podcast, and they just keep getting harder and harder. And yeah, I definitely agree with you, Mike. But Brad, going to you now. Are you ready?
I'm terrified.
Well, here we go. The first question for you, Brad. How many league goals does Jack McInerney have for the Union?
25.
Who scored the last goal of the 2017 regular season for the Union?
CJ Sapong.
Who scored the second playoff goal for the Union?
Pass.
What year did the Union draft Richie Marquez?
2014.
You got it, yeah. And so you got, I believe that was tallying it up now, 3 out of 5, I believe it was. Yeah, you got 3 out of 5. So Jack McInerney, he did score 25 goals, you're right. CJ Sapong scored the last goal of the 2017 regular season. That goal came against Orlando. Ali Bedoya is the one who scored the second ever goal in the playoffs for the Union. That was against Toronto in 2016. And you're right about Richie Marquez getting drafted in 2014. And I didn't get to the last question, so I will save that for another episode. So not bad, you guys. You both got on the board. You were in the lead there, Brad, with 6 points. And Mike, don't worry, you got plenty of time to catch back up.
Wow. Brad's going to mop the floor with me at this rate.
Well, just to be perfectly frank, like I guessed at all of those.
You got a sharp memory, though. So, I mean, you seem like you knew what you were talking about.
Subconsciously knew them all.
Yeah.
All right, well, this next category is true and false. This is pretty self-explanatory. All right, so each contestant's 5 true/false questions, with each question being worth 1 point each. And I'm going to start with you first, Brad. So whenever you're ready, and this segment isn't timed, so take your time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. All right. Well, the first question for you, Brad. True or false? Sebastian Letou was MLS Player of the Month 2 times in 2011.
False.
False is right. It was just once, which came in September of 2011 for his 7 goals for that month. All right, question number 2. True or false? The Union have 7 different goal scorers in the playoffs.
False.
It is false. So it's only Seba, Corey Burke, Ali Bedoya twice, Jack Elliott, Fafa Pico, and Marco Fabian. Question number 3. True or false? The most shots the Union have had in a playoff game is 23.
False.
That is true. It came against Houston in 2011.
Huh.
Question number 4. True or false? Michael Farfan has more yellow cards than his brother Gabriel Farfan.
True.
It is true. Michael has 14 yellow cards and Gabriel has 7. And the last question for you, Brad. True or false? In 2011, the Union scored 44 goals.
False.
It is true. They scored exactly 44 goals that season.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so again, you went back-to-back, I believe, 3 out of 5 again, and that's 9 total points so far for you, Brad. All right, Mike, we're going to you. No pressure at all.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. True or false? In 2011, the Union had 4 players win Goal of the Week.
4? Oh, that seems high. False.
It is false. They only had 2 players. They were Carlos Ruiz for Week 10, and then Roger. And Week 18, he also got Goal of the Week, and then Roger Torres got Goal of the Week for Week 20. All right, here we go. Question number 2 for you, there, Mike. True or false? The most times a player has won offsides in a playoff game is 3 times.
The most times a Union player has been offsides in a playoff game is 3 times.
Yep.
What a great question.
I think it might be higher than that, so I'm going to go false.
It is true. It was Fafa against New York Red Bulls in the playoff game.
Pico?
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking, but I thought he might have been off more than that. All right.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, yeah, I was surprised when I went on the Union's website and everything, and they only said 3 times. I thought it was a lot higher than that, but I think they went off 7 times total on that game. So, and Fafa was the culprit for most of them. But here we go. Question number 3 for you. True or false? The Union have allowed 3 goals in the playoffs 4 times before.
3 goals in the playoffs 4 times. False.
It is false. Do you know the teams that they've done it against, or who've scored 3 goals against them?
Was the return leg at Houston, maybe? Toronto, probably. And how many did Atlanta score against us? Was it Atlanta this past year?
It was not Atlanta. So it was Houston, New York City FC, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls scored 3 at home last season. I mean, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
4-3. Man, it was only a couple months ago, you know.
I was thinking horrible, horrible losses, not victories.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, with the amount of goals we gave up, the way we played in that game, there's no way we should have won, but we won it. But that's neither here or there, because question number 4 for you, Mike, is true or false? Philadelphia Union finished the 2013 season with a negative 10 goal differential.
That sounds like it could be true.
It is false. They scored 42 goals while they gave up 44 goals that season, which is a negative 2 differential.
I remember that season being a lot rougher than that.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised when I went back there because in the early years for the Union, I was not easy at all for us. So, but the last question for you, Mike, question number 5, true or false? Connor Casey has more yellow cards than Ali Bedoya.
I think Bedoya, just with longevity, would have more. So I'll say false.
It is false. Ali Bedoya has 22 yellow cards, while Connor Casey has 12, which I was surprised that Connor Casey had, that many yellow cards in the short amount of time that he was here and everything. But, Connor Casey, I guess, he's a rough striker and everything, so he's not going to make it easy on those center backs and everything. But there you go, Mike. You got 3 out of 5 as well, and you're still not out of this. You have 5 points, and Brad has 9, and that takes us to the last segment of the night, which is Name the Union Player. So in the final category, contestants will go head-to-head against each other and guessing the Union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues, and contestants can buzz in whenever they think they know the player. What I mean by buzz, the contestant will say their name if they know the answer. If a contestant answers wrong, that will freeze them out until the next player is spoke about. Each question will be worth 3 points each. Any questions, you guys?
Nope.
All right, here we go. Player number 1 played for the Union for 3 seasons. Hint number 2, jersey number 10. Hint number 3, he had back-to-back stoppage times goals against FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo. Hint number 4, he was the Union's first ever pick in the MLS. Go ahead, Mike.
Danny Mwanga.
You're right. There's 3 points right there for you. So
good one.
I wanted to ring in sooner, but I was nervous after what happened last episode.
Oh yeah, with Ed when he was like, Jack Elliott right off the back, which if you're feeling confident in anything, I can definitely see why you buzz in. But when it's that early and everything, smart to just let the questions be read and everything, and take your time. But here we go. Player number 2 went from jersey number 9, 11 to 9.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Letou.
It is not Letou. So, Brad, sit back and let me read the rest of the questions for you. Here we go.
Great,
Hint
thanks.
number 2. Played for Reading United. Hint number 3. Scored on his debut against Real Salt Lake in 2014. Hint number 4. Has 2 memorable blunders, including a penalty miss in the 2015 U.S. Open Cup Finals loss. And last hint, first name Andrew.
Wenger.
Yep, you're right. So, man, Mike, you just talked about it. You were like, I want to buzz in, then you came and buzzed in right away. So,
I didn't remember Wenger switching jerseys that much.
Yep, he did indeed. But what a player to forget, I guess. So, not one of the fondest moments for Union fans. But player number 3, he had a trial at Sunderland before signing for the Union. Hint number 2, played at FC Cologne at one point in his career. Hint number 3, has a twin brother named Jakob.
Glesnes?
It is not Jacob Glesnes. So, Mike, sit back and let me give you the last 2 clues. Hint number 4, scored 15 goals in 2019 for the Union. And last hint here, first name Casper.
Mike Shrabilko.
You're right. So, here we go.
Keep my mouth shut.
You had it, Brad, but here we go. It's still all to play for, guys. Player number 4, jersey number 10 for the Union. Hint number 2, played for Spartak Moscow at one point in his career. Hint number 3, scored a game-winning goal against Sporting Kansas City in 2014.
Doskow.
It is not Doskow. So, Mike, again, sit back, and here we go. Hint number 4 is from Argentina. And hint number 5, first name Christian.
Maidana.
You're right. Christian Maidana. And here we go, guys. Player number 5. I'm pretty sure this is still a 2-point game. So, it's still all to play for with the last player, which is hint number 1, jersey number 5 in his first season for the club. Hint number 2, his last goal came in 2012 against Columbus Crew. Hint number 3, In 2014, he made a crucial double block against DC United, twice denying DC on the goal line. Hint number 4 is a Colombian. And hint number 5, first name Carlos.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Valdez?
It is Carlos Valdez. Man,
wow.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brad. You were doing so hot there, and then, like you said earlier, man, only if you could have just been quiet for one more clue and everything, you could have had it. But tallying it up right now, and like I said, I think it was like a 2-point game and everything. But how about Carlos Valdez? I mean, I think he was probably arguably the Union's best defender they've ever had. I mean, what a player he was for the Union.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, I remember a couple times, he went out on loan, then he came back in 2014 and everything. And, like I said earlier, I mean, those early seasons for the Union definitely were not promising years for us and everything. But, you look at players like Carlos Valdez, you look at Seba. I mean, after all the times he got traded, then he came back and everything. I mean, you look at the 2011 playoff team and everything, which I wanted to ask you guys earlier, though. Do you think that 2011 playoff team could have beat our 2019 playoff team? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Man,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Just because, just the era of MLS. It's just the teams are so much deeper now. But if you look back on that roster, there were a lot of good players. I still think Mondragon's one of the best goalies we've ever had, for sure. Just the way he organized that back line. The defense was great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Mondragon is probably, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper that we've had. I mean, I know Zach McMath can get a shout. I know everybody's in love with Andre Blake, but I don't know the last 2 seasons Andre had. It's kind of made me a little bit eerie with Andre Blake. But the final scores, though, guys, was 17 points for Mike and 12 points for Brad. So congratulations, Mike. You're going to go into the next round.
Well done.
I got lucky. I got really lucky.
I mean, like you said earlier, the questions definitely are getting harder as the episodes go on and everything. And I guess I was thinking, too, the people that played earlier and everything, they did not know what to expect. So you guys going as late as you did in the round and everything, at least you guys had somewhat of an idea what to expect and everything. But the questions definitely are getting harder as I am running out of questions. But thanks so much, Brad, for coming out, and had a blast getting to talk to you for the first time. And you're more than welcome to come on the podcast whenever you want.
Excellent. Thanks so much for the time. That was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to pass the time and everything, especially with no soccer and everything, which is definitely tough and everything. But Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me at Thomas19064 on Twitter. I'm probably tweeting too much. You might mute me. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, Todd. Thanks. And it was a lot of fun playing against Brad too, because back in the old big soccer days, Brad actually reached out to me totally unsolicited. I think I mentioned in passing that I was going to school for marketing at Penn State, and Brad jumped on it, and it really gave me my first professional career opportunity with an internship. So, Brad, thank you for that. So this was fun playing against you.
Mike, you're welcome, and congratulations on your W. And those big soccer days were fun. Right at the start, that was a blast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Making up team names and colors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so crazy as I go along and talk to different Union fans, how many of you guys there were back in the big soccer days. Like, I had no clue that was a thing until, like I said, I watched the Sons of Ben movie and everything. Then I know a couple months ago, I typed in the website and I saw some activity and everything, but I'm sure it's definitely not as big as it was back when the team first came and everything. But Brad, why don't you tell everybody where to find you on social media?
I'm at eBradley10. I talk some about soccer. If you follow me already, you already know that I'm a stark raving liberal, and I tweet a lot about politics too.
Well, like I said, thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll see you in the next round, Mike. But with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.